What's happened, court?
Yes, Lily, a lot happened in court yesterday, and you note that at the last week, to be precise, on the 9th of April, the Supreme Court sat, the 5-member panel of the Supreme Court, presided over by Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonso, with Justice Samuel Esiedu, Justice Ernest Gawu, Justice Yauda Kwasari, and Justice Richard J. Frimpong. And then the case before them was the interlocutory injunction application. In fact, two of them, one from Member of Parliament for Otafo, Vincent Ekoasifua, and then the other also from Ebenezer Oseiwusu. And both of them are seeking quite similar remedies, asking the Apex Court to injunct or to stop the president from continuing with processes to activate the petition seeking the potential removal of the Chief Justice, and they want the Supreme Court to stop the president from doing that. One of the things that they have stated in their main or their substantive rate before the court is to the effect that the petitions ought to have been given to the Chief Justice for her comment and response before it is referred to the Council of State. And we do know that the petition that has been given to the Chief Justice, she has already provided her responses and comments in relation to that already. And so with the relation to the substantive matter, what will happen in the course of time, we'll tell you. So last Wednesday, on the 9th, the panel adjourned the case indefinitely because the Office of the Attorney General has written to the Office of the Chief Justice requesting that between 7th and 10th, civil cases in between the lines should be adjourned because state attorneys were on a training program. So anytime after the 10th, cases will be fixed. And then we spoke about the fact that, hey, indefinitely, then it means when? And I mentioned that the Supreme Court, when they mention indefinite adjournment, it could even be a few hours later or the next day. And this week, the court list for the Supreme Court has came out yesterday. And for the Supreme Court, they sit from Tuesdays to Thursdays. And in between, they hear cases and all of that. Yesterday, the court list came, and the two cases have been fixed for hearing tomorrow. And tomorrow is the 16th of April. So the two interlocutory injunctions, which were adjourned indefinitely on the 9th of April, have now been fixed to come up on the 16th of April. That's about 7 days, a week after it was adjourned. So tomorrow, all eyes will be on the Supreme Court, and specifically the panel that will be dealing with those two interlocutory injunctions. And as usual, we'll be there to bring you updates on all that will happen. So that's one of the things that we find it worthy sharing with you this morning by way of what is happening on court today.
What's the latest on the Oyarefa cocaine saga?
Yes, so that case is before the High Court, presided over by Justice Ruby Ayite. And yesterday, the case was called. In fact, a Nigerian national, we're told that he's a businessman, 56 years old, and his name is Okechukwu Chima. Okechukwu Chuma. So yesterday, Chima, I beg your pardon, he was in court, so you can see on your screens over there when he was being taken away. So he was the one in white with the bald head and all of that. So yesterday, one of the things that the prosecution led by Watkins Adama indicated to the court was to the effect that, yes, they have received a report from the Ghana Standards Authority, and having received that, they intend to make some amendment to the charge sheet already before the court. Fresh charge sheet is expected to be filed, and once that is filed, the plea of the accused will be taken in all of that. So yesterday, once the case came up and that particular information was given to Justice Ruby Ayite, the case has now been adjourned. So in the coming days, we'll get more in relation to the incident or the raid at Oyarefa, his residence at Oyarefa, and we're told that the substances that were retrieved when they quantified all of that amounted to $2.1 million. That's quite substantial.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So
wow.
That's a good one. This one, NACOP led the whole process to have him arrested in that. So Okechukwu Chima will be back in court sometime this month. And the point is that prosecution has indicated that fresh charges will be leveled against him. In fact, the court also ordered prosecution to expedite action, making sure that they are able to finish whatever they are supposed to do for the trial to begin in earnest. So that's one of the things that took place yesterday in relation to this case and by way of updates.
Interesting. Yesterday, the case involving the death of one of us, Ahmed Suale, was back in court. What's the latest?
Yes. So for the first time at the High Court, lawyers of the accused who have been at the police level say suspect. But once you have come to court and the court is having a hand on you, you become an accused person. So he instructed the lawyers to be at the High Court. In fact, already he has appeared twice at the Medina District Court, March 19 and April 2nd. Both of them. On March 19, the charge was, the provisional charge was murder. His plea was not taken. The lawyers made attempt to ask for bail. It was denied. He was remanded. April 2nd, he appeared. Charge sheet was amended. Fresh one was filed down. Abetment was included. So two counts, abetment to commit crime to with murder, and of course, murder. You know that we have been told that he was the one that sold pictures of Ahmed Suale to Kennedy Ohine Japan, who then showed it on Net2 television. Days later, Ahmed Suale was killed, and the course record also points to the fact that he was closer to the scene where Ahmed Suale was murdered. So he's facing two counts. His plea has not been taken yet in relation to both counts. So having been denied bail at the lower court, he decided that, okay, then let me go to the High Court. And in fact, in relation to the charges, the provisional charges, the lower court has no jurisdiction to grant him bail. That one, they remind you. All that the court is doing is make sure that prosecution have enough time to conduct further investigation. Once the investigations are concluded, the case docket is forwarded to the office of the Attorney General, and the advice of the Attorney General comes. That is where it will determine whether the accused person should be let go or should be committed to go and stand trial by way of committal process and all of that. So the lawyer decided that they were going to the High Court. So yesterday, in fact, it's been pending for a while. Two occasions it was adjourned because the office of the Attorney General have not been served with the processes and all of that. Yesterday it came up, and then the parties now have the opportunity to move their application for bail. In fact, extensively, they made quite extensive, copious argument, especially the lawyers of the Daniel Owusu-Kranti. And of course, prosecution also opposed to that and said, look, investigation is the process, and in relation to murder, it takes some time. And more also, the last time the provisional charge was murder, the second time it was murder and abetment. It means that investigation is uncovering new things. So when given more time, they will be able to complete the process. But they want the accused person remanded. The court said at this particular point in time, Justice Kizita Nako Akwashi said at this particular point in time, it is early to grant the accused person a bail. But at such time that the court will determine otherwise, he should be remanded into prison's custody. So yesterday, that particular request failed. For bail, didn't happen. So Daniel Owusu-Kranti will still be in lawful custody. What the court said is that he should be in prison's custody. So that is what happened in relation to the Ahmed Suale's case. Daniel Owusu-Kranti, who was arrested, and it's on two counts, two provisional counts of abetment and murder.
Was Lewin in court yesterday?
Interesting one day. So yesterday, in fact, the day that the parties were supposed to appear in court
was a holiday.
It was a holiday, April 1. So the following day, which is automatically, this is how the court works. If a case is fixed on a particular day and that day becomes a holiday, automatically you have to appear the following day, that's a working day. So on April 2nd, the parties came, and unfortunately, it was the lawyers of Murtala who came, but they picked the date and they served a hearing notice on Lewin and then the lawyers. Now, the hearing date was yesterday. The return date was yesterday. So yesterday, the case was called before Justice Fosimba. And when the case was called, lawyers of Murtala Ni Apletu Planche, the man with the glasses over there, he's the lawyer for Absol Murtala, indicated to the court that they have sent the document to the lawyer of Lewin to sign, and ever since they sent sometime in March, they have not heard anything from them. And so the only thing that they knew at the time was that They sent a junior lawyer, and just before they entered the court, the lawyer was updating him that the lead counsel or senior counsel was not well, and the document has also now been sent to GHOne to look at it. So that update was given to the court, and he makes the point, that lawyer for Mata Nkuma makes the point that, look, the court should take judicial notice of all that is happening, because it looks like GHOne and the lawyers are up to something. Whenever they come to court, they take a decision, they go back and do something otherwise. So the court should, but what they are willing to do is to grant them one more opportunity. Okay. The court said it is not happy with what is happening. This dragging of feet should not be happening at this particular point in time. But the court notes what is happening. However, one last opportunity will be given to GHOne and the lawyers. Should they fail to assign to the terms of agreement which both parties have sat down and agreed on, then the matter will have to proceed in court, at a court. So that is one of the things that took place yesterday. So yesterday, the parties were not able to file the terms of settlement as agreed, and the court could not adopt him because it was not filed. But Justice Fosimba had a message for GHOne and said that this is your last chance. You either take it or not. If you do not take it, at the next court sitting, the matter will go to take its normal course in open court. So that is what happened in the GHOne Mata Nkuma 5 million defamation case, which settlement has been done, but the parties are yet to file their terms for the court to adopt it as a consent judgment.
What's coming up today in court?
Former second lady robbery case, Inusah.
Inusah.
Absolutely. The last time I was here, I told you about the fact that in respect of that case, prosecution is asking that some of their witnesses, the prosecution witnesses, testify in camera because some of them are traumatized by the way the incident happened. And the fact that some of them are also politically exposed. And so if they sit in open court and testify, the security situation or the issues will come out, and that will not help the situation. So they want them testify in camera. The defense opposed to that, they said, look, there has been an interview, there has been some narration of the case, which is still on YouTube, and people are watching and all of that. So which one, between the court and then public, social media, which one it's more troubling? So if the person can have the courage to speak, and the whole video is even on YouTube, people can go there, like, comment, and all of that. They think that sitting in open court to make the same narration will not change anything. So today we'll bring you an update on what the decision of the court has been in relation to that. And the final one is, I'm sure you've heard this one for a very long time, Western Togoland.
Is that still in court?
Yes. So in relation to the Western Togoland case, Papavi is already gone.
Yes,
he's passed on
yes.
and gone at the age of...
And after the death of Papavi, a lot of people forget about it.
Yeah, it's subject. A lot of them were...
I didn't readily know that.
Yes.
I'm not sure I could even readily recall that case was still in court.
Yes, so initially they arrested over 70 people, and putting all of them together, and some of them played different roles and all of that. So they grouped them. And I remember about 4 different groups. Some of them have been jailed 5 years, some of them 4 years, some 3 years, some 2 have been fined in relation to all that. So there's another group that are still before the court. I can remember about 3 different groups that are still having their case being held. So we'll bring you updates in relation to one set of these groups where some 6 accused persons are facing trial in relation to that. So these are some of the things that we should be looking out for by way of what is happening today.
Okay, Counsel, thank you very much.
Thank you, Limo.
I'll catch you on the flip side.